Hey, this is Russell Whitney with Expert Insider, where I bring experts from internet marketers, real estate investors, anybody that knows how to manage money, private money lenders, hard money lenders, you name it. I bring every expert to you on a weekly basis. This week, I have an amazing privilege of one of my great friends being on this show, Mr. Terry McDonald. Terry manages over $70 million in retirement funds. He's also the only person to create a private lending course for those of you that want to become private money lenders. Terry, glad to have you on the show.
Thank you so much, Russ.
Awesome.
Glad to be here.
Great. So Terry, let's talk a little bit about, one of the big things is entrepreneurship, and that's what I love on this show is entrepreneurs. Now, you went to college, correct?
I did.
And let's talk a little bit about that, because most people go to college, think that's the right move in life. They got to go to college, get a job, work their way up the corporate ladder. You graduated college?
I did.
Okay.
I did. You're exactly right. I think I know where you're going with that. You know, I went to 4 colleges. Started out majoring in economics, ended up graduating an economics and finance degree. The reason why it was 4 colleges is because I kept wanting to make money, and I kept leaving to make money. Starting back from when I was 20 years old and got into mortgages at its heyday, trying to take advantage of the money.
So you wanted to go to college to make money. I mean, come on, let's truth. You went to 4 colleges because you wanted 4 different types of women.
No, the women come with the money. I think we've all learned that a little bit. But really, it was the education. And I actually got to a point once I had my degree, for a split second there, I thought I was going to enter into the normal workforce,
right? Only
to find out that I was way too overqualified, way too experienced, to where a college degree still didn't help me actually make any money whatsoever.
What job was that you were going to go into?
I was looking at everything, anything traditional. So at the time, I was, again, just looking around, just because the winds were kind of changing a little bit. Obviously, the recession hit. So
right.
I had a commercial loan brokerage that obviously went out of business with the real estate demise. And
so you were in 2008, had a commercial lending business. And so when did you start in commercial lending? What year?
That was probably 2007. So right near the end.
So basically you had a very short term.
I did. I got into
up and down
individual residential mortgages.
Okay.
And then that parlayed into owning my own business, having National Commercial Lending Group, which is our commercial brokerage.
Okay.
And then at that time, the minute we started having success, the market fell apart.
So the market fell apart. When that happened, you were like, what am I going to be when I grow up? Is that correct?
Where do I go next?
Okay,
all I know is this type of investing, and now there's no market for it.
So you didn't know where to pivot to. So all you knew was commercial lending, and that's probably another big thing for those of you watching this with experts. Is you always got to look for a pivot. Every market seems to trend up, down, and then it has a little bit of a flat point. Or look at the real estate market. Everybody put their money in real estate. Boom, bubble hits, and then people didn't know what to do. So you have to be able to always be thinking a couple moves ahead of the game. Talking about that is when that market crashed, is that when you got into getting your series license, your 7 and 63?
Absolutely. I mean, I couldn't have said it better as far as the pivot that was needed. I didn't necessarily know it at the time, but getting securities licensed in the middle of a recession and being 21, well, at that time I was 22, 23, 24 when I was getting my securities license. No one wants to give a young guy their money,
right,
to go into the stock market that's down in the middle of a recession.
And you had to convince people at that point in time. So when you have a series, so for everybody that's sitting at home watching this, a Series 7, a Series 63. What is a Series 7 for the person sitting at home? Break it down basic.
It allows me to legally help you trade stocks. So
it allows him to help you trade stocks, and a Series 63 does what?
It's the Uniform Securities Law, so it allows me to do it in all 50 states.
Okay, so 763, all 50 states. So if you want to give somebody a broker, let the brokerage basically manage your money, put it into the right investments, right stocks. But when you're getting started, you got to be an entrepreneur because you got to build a book of business, right?
Absolutely.
So that's one of the hardest things is in the beginning phases, and this is why a lot of people give up on a series, but there's tons of money to be made in that business, correct? Absolutely. If you want to have your series license, is building your book of business. That's entrepreneurship. You got to be an entrepreneur if you want to manage portfolios of money, right?
Absolutely.
So tell us a little bit about that. So you have to sell somebody on why should somebody invest with Terry?
I think exactly. I think the easiest way for me to describe that business is describe why it probably didn't work for me.
Okay.
People really in that business, being a securities licensed investment advisor, your traditional financial advisor is perfect if you may know a lot of people or you come from money. That wasn't the case I was in. I was raised poor, not a lot of very successful friends or family members when it came to money. So I didn't have a small circle of people I could turn to and say, hey, let me be your financial advisor. Because it doesn't matter what you're selling.
Right.
It's how are you going to find the people you're going to sell to.
So you were raised in, where were you raised?
I was raised in Las Vegas.
Okay, in Las Vegas. So poor neighborhood, not really a lot of opportunity, but I believe everybody, I don't know, correct me if I'm wrong, does everybody have opportunity to become successful? Because you sure did, it looks like to me.
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. You don't. Opportunity is something that we all get at different points in time. And recognizing it, having the wherewithal to be able to take advantage of it is something different.
All right, so you believe everyone can become successful or not?
Everyone who wants to be successful and has it in them to go find a way.
Okay, so basically what he's saying is, and probably what I'm hearing, is that anybody, you can become successful, but you got to want to. You got to have the follow through, you got to have the drive, you got to have the commitment, you got to have the mentorship, you got to have the education, all those pieces.
Absolutely, and when you say being smart enough to pivot at that right moment in time, at that point in time, I realized everyone is trying to do the same thing.
Right.
We've all learned that 99% of people are trying to do the exact same thing. When you're trying to do what 1% of people are trying to do, there's a lot less competition. So at that point is where I pivoted from traditional investments to teaching alternative investment strategies.
Okay, so when you had your Series 763, you were trying to go after stocks, wasn't working. You didn't have the enough basically credibility at that point in time, is that correct? Not a lot of credibility, not a lot of book of business.
And it wasn't the right climate. Absolutely.
And it wasn't the right climate, yes, because the market was tanked, so everybody was scared to put their money in, right?
Absolutely.
So now, the next piece I want to get into you with a little bit about is IRAs and 401ks. So in the next episode, I'm going to bring Terry on, Expert Insider. We're going to talk a little bit about what you should really be doing with your money. If you have an IRA, 401k, who you should be investing it with and generating money right away.